Hello, this is Yaakov Kronenberg from Jerusalem, and tonight we'll be doing another class in a series of classes on Libra, ascendant, Venus and the different signs. Tonight we're going to do Venus in Taurus, an interesting combination because again, it's just like Venus in Pisces, where it had one side where it's exalted, being in Pisces, on the other hand though it's in the house of servitude. So there's some kind of contradiction. The same thing with Venus in the 8th, in a Libra ascendant. So Venus in Taurus is going to fall in the 8th house. The house, again, a difficult house. The house of death, the house of change, the house of calamity, so to speak. So it can be a difficult house sometimes, but yet you have a good planet there, Venus, and it's also in honor. So it's like a double Venusian, so you got a lot of good energy there, but it's working for a bad house, right? It's working for a difficult house. I have to teach you a secret in astrology, in Jewish astrology. We say that you always look at how the houses are connected. In a Libra ascendant, Venus is the ruling planet. So you look at the other house that Venus rules, and it's Taurus, which is also Venusian. So you see, all Libras, they have a connection between the 1 and the 8th house, which is life. One house is life, and the 8th house is death. So the only other sign that has this is Aries. Aries also is Scorpio on the 8th house cusp. And so there's always going to be a connection somehow with matters connected to the 8th house. The 8th house isn't always death. I mean, everybody, has a connection with death. Everybody thinks about death, and it's a part of everybody's life. It's going to happen to everybody at some point. But the Librans, they have a tendency the Librans and the Aries, they have more tendency to get themselves into, life-threatening situations, maybe, something like that. Because their first house goes towards the house of death. But again, it doesn't always mean death. I mean, don't think just because I have my first ruler, my 1 and 8th, and I'm already in my mid-60s, There might be early 60s, I don't want to exaggerate. And so, it says I made it this far, so it's not, and I've seen lots of people, I can show you charts of people that have 5 planets in the 8th house and they're going strong. I think I did once the mayor of New York City, Bloomberg. He's got like 5 planets in the 8th house, and he's, has a good life, the man. He's a billionaire, he's mayor of the biggest city in America, etc. And so, everything has to be judged. Right? 1 out of every 12 people is going to have their ruler in the 8th house. So again, don't get carried away. But so again, by Libra though, when you have Libra in the 8th, so it's when you have Libra on the ascendant and Venus in the 8th, so then the Venusian, you have that Venus energy in the 8th house. So there's going to be a desire, first of all, to marry for a person who has 1 in age, especially women. They tend to want rich men. The difference with a Libra is that she wants a rich man that she's also in love with, because she's got such a strong Venus there. Right? She won't just marry for money, she wants to marry but she won't also just marry for love. She wants love and money. Right? So it says that, and there's men like that too. Don't think there aren't. There's men that way also. And so you see that. But again, when you have the ruler in the 8th house, there's going to be interest in 8th house affairs, right? And death matters, inheritances, other people's money, also interested in the mystical subjects, the mystics, the hidden secrets, right? All sorts of psychology, all sorts of things like that. What's going on underneath the surface? What's the mysteries of life? what life is all about, you know. So it's a deep house, it's a Scorpion house, right? So Venus, if you go even deeper into astrology, so really the natural ruler of the 8th is Venus, is Scorpio, a Martian sign, and here you have a feminine sign, so it doesn't really work. It's not a good house for Venus, right? Because Venus is situated in a Martian house. But even so, there's going to be some good effects of Venus on the 8th house affairs. Right? Because Venus is a fortunate planet, and here it's in honor. And of course with Venus, the ruling planet, there's going to be an interest in Taurus. It's going to be a very artistic type of person, very... just by the nature of Venus and Taurus ruling the chart, Venus and Taurus is a very artistic, very musically inclined a lot of the time, right? Because Taurus rules the throat, a good singer, possibly, all sorts of things like this, and also an interest in money. Taurus rules money, the 2nd house. So again, you see there's going to be a big interest in money. So in any case, I want to do a chart now of a very famous man. I'll show you, just don't think it's a bad combination. I'll show you a famous man. He lived to be over 90 years of age. And he was one of the most famous men in America in his time. He was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. His name was Oliver Wendell Holmes. And he was a Libra rising with Venus in Taurus. Venus in Taurus actually falls in his 7th, but it's working for the 8th by being 8 signs away from the ascendant. And so being in the 7th also, it's a tremendously good indication. You always have to say it works a little for both. When you have a situation like this, you say Venus, sometimes it's working for the house of marriage, sometimes the house of death, sometimes for both of them combined. But in any case, so he has Venus in honor, ruling planet in the 7th, so marriage is going to be very important to him, marital life. And Behemet, he married a woman, and they lived together many, many years, and from all accounts, they were very, very happily married. The only thing was they never had children. They were childless. I don't know why. You don't really... I'm not sure why. We'd have to investigate that. And there is tonight where the Venus is the Venus is opposed by Mars. See, if you look at his chart, not only is Venus in the 7th house indicating, but the ruler of 1 is in the 7th, as he goes to his partner, and the ruler of 7. The 7th house cusp has Aries there, and the ruler of Aries is in the 1st house, so his partners come to him. And they're opposed to each other, but they're getting closer, right? So it means that when the ruler of 1 and 7 are connected and getting closer, it means that the relationship is going to tighten and strengthen over the years, even though there is an opposition. Opposition isn't necessarily bad. What you like is connection. Right? Even in opposition is better than no connection. And the opposition is not bad because they have Saturn breaks it up. If a 3rd planet comes and breaks up the opposition, like in this chart with Saturn there in Capricorn, then it works itself out, the opposition. So they worked out their opposition, and he was very, very successful man. They became very wealthy in the end because he didn't have children, and his wife died before him. He left all his money to the U.S. government, which is interesting. His belief in government. But in any case, also, like we said, the 7th has a big connection with legalities. I always say, because like in Jewish law, it's the scales of justice, and it was very important to social regulation. He was very into that social regulation as a Supreme Court justice, and you see that very much in his chart. And the Venus, so it's nice. It does have the opposition from Mars, and it gets I guess that's about the main planet it gets from, is the opposition of Mars. So that could have somehow maybe hurt the childbearing capabilities. You'd have to also look at the woman's chart to see. Here nothing really stands out that much about not having children. Maybe, but in any case, I hope everybody enjoyed the class, and thank you.